Hi, Jon Harp with Cutler Real Estate. I just want to introduce myself, a couple things of why I got into real estate. Graduated college in 2011 for sports marketing, and quickly found out that my entry job would be selling season tickets to a single A baseball team somewhere out in the middle of Iowa or somewhere. So I quickly determined that I didn't want to sell season tickets and make $9 an hour, work 60 hours a week. On top of doing other things. So what I did was I emailed local agents and brokerages to see about getting into real estate, and I connected with my current team leader, joined up with him 20 days after graduating college. He kind of took me under his wing, got me into real estate, and I've been doing it full time ever since. One of the reasons why I like real estate is because it allows me to do what I want to do. It gives me the option to take a Monday off if need be, and it also challenges me because I have to treat it as a job and as a career. It's just not something you do for fun. So that's why I got into it. It has its challenges. I met up with Tony and Kelly very early in my career. I think they were my third or fourth clients I've ever had. They came in through an internet lead. At the time when I first spoke with them, they were still in Kentucky, and she had about 6 or 7 months before Kelly was being transferred up to Columbus for her job. So initially, along the road, their criteria and what they were looking for in a house changed. When I first met with them, it was more of a hey, let's find a place in a good area, in a good school district, and something that we could buy cheaply and fix up and have equity into the home, which at the time the Columbus market was great for that because there was a bunch of foreclosures, a bunch of short sales and distressed properties. So over the months, it took a while for them to get used to the city. They would come up on a weekend, and we would go out Saturday, Sunday, look at 15 houses on Saturday and 15 more on Sunday, and we did this off and on for the first 6 months or so, and then it came time where she did transfer up here, and we did not have a house for them. We were close on a couple, got them into contract, backed out due to home inspection and so forth. So we got to the point where they were living up here in Columbus, and they were still looking for a property. They ended up finding an apartment, and the plan was to, at that time, really dig into what areas of Columbus they wanted to live. Once we were able to do that, we narrowed down kind of what school district they wanted to be in, and that determined to be really 3 different areas: Dublin schools, or Olentangy schools, and Pickerington schools, which is where their apartment was. So as we went along, their criteria changed. I got to know them better as a client as I got more used to being in real estate. I was able to help determine kind of, hey, this is going to work for you, this isn't. But they did have some sticking points in their properties that kind of nixed a lot of them. The one thing for Kelly was that she couldn't do a straight flight of stairs, in a 2-story home. So what we ran into is most 2-stories don't have a split staircase. So we'd have to walk into the house and look to see if it's something that they could structurally change the stairs and still be able to have it look and seem functionable from an aesthetic standpoint and resale standpoint. So that knocked out probably 95% of any 2-story home we looked at. Another thing was, a big sticking point for Tony was he wanted a full basement, and not every house has a full basement. So we would go into a house, and we would kind of know partial basement. It would tell us, and we would go down, and sometimes the partial basement was large enough to where they could finish it and it would make sense, and sometimes it was just tiny and it wasn't even worth it. So those are the couple things that we ran into initially. They were looking for something that's a fix-up, but they weren't opposed to something that's move-in ready. So it was just kind of finding that right one that worked for him. It did take us 2 years. This past February would be 2 years that I've worked with him. And I always joke around with them that, on my website I can tell how many times they viewed a property, and I think the number is up to like 2,000 houses that they viewed while on my website. So we finally found them a 5-level split in Pickerington. It's a newer home. The basement is a full basement. Kelly can do the split stairs. She only has to go up one flight to get to the master, another flight to get up to the kids' rooms. And then Tony was able to, he's going to be able to finish that lower level basement because it's a full basement, and it's something that he wants to put in a theater in down there for entertaining and everything. So those were the biggest things. My biggest challenges was trying to determine what house worked for him. I would send him properties and like, hey, this is a great property, let's check it out, and there would always be one thing that would kill the deal of them moving forward. We were in contract on a couple properties, backed out due to home inspection reasons. A couple bank-owned properties where the bank just was unrealistic on their price. But overall, they taught me a lot. We did become friends. Kelly, every time we went out, Kelly would always ask me to come over, for dinner or whatever afterwards, hang out with the kids. And one thing it did teach me was patience. I always tell people I'm not in this business to push someone to buy a house. I want them to buy the house that they want. I don't feel like it's my place to say, hey, this is it, let's do it, buy this one. But overall, it was a great experience. It's a learning experience. It definitely had its ups and it definitely had its downs. But they're great people, great friends.